Welcome back to On Point, Whirlwind Edition. James, huge weekend on tap. Coast to Coast Derby preps, 100 points on the line. Aqueduct, Keeneland, Santa Anita, Nyquist last week. Do you think we'll see anything this week that would usurp Nyquist as the Derby favorite?
No, I really don't think there's any chance. I think Nyquist, he's got some health concerns, but I hope he makes it back to the track on Saturday, and I do think he'll be a solid favorite on Derby Day.
Yeah, still 4 weeks out, and I'm sure they just want to be. Now's the time where you can afford to take it easy a little bit if you think he's not ready. So, as you said, hopefully we'll be back, get the PR machine back up and running. But we do have 3 preps. Certainly, I would think the second and third choices are going to come out of this weekend, barring maybe Cupid blowing the doors off the Arkansas Derby field next week. But a lot to watch. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Most looking forward to the Santa Anita Derby. I mean, I think that with more Spirit and Dancing Candy in there, both those horses have a good chance to be the second choice in the Kentucky Derby, maybe even the second and third if they run 1-2 and do so in impressive fashion. So that's the race that I think is the strongest of the 3 preps. That's the one I'm looking most forward to.
Yeah, and speaking of a prep for a prep, I guess I thought the San Felipe was a fantastic race. Dancing Candy, gate to wire there. There were a couple horses in that race that maybe didn't go with him, that if they turn things around might this time. That would set it up for more Spirit. I am sticking with Dancing Candy, though, and I guess my phone agrees. It's excited about that pick. But for me, he's the one in that race.
Really remarkable. I know it's a small sample, but Twirling Candy, 35% mud sire. So with the likelihood of a wet track, I don't think that's going to negatively impact him at all.
Yeah, and I don't know the stat on Candy Ride, who's Twirling Candy sire, but I know he's pretty good on the mud, too. So, right. Yeah, it's all there. We'll head back east locally. Keeneland opening today. The big race is tomorrow. 14-horse field for the Bluegrass. I do think morning line favorite Zulu's the most likely winner. He's tough to bet as the favorite, though.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's getting first-time blinkers, and he's got that Mohayman factor where, the last 2 horses, Flexibility and Green Point's Crusader, to finish second to him in stakes, have both come back and run poorly. John Velasquez was his regular rider. He's going to ride Outwork. I think he just, he's going to try to ride the best Derby horse. So I think he thinks Outwork is better than Zulu, and I think it's just, if everything goes right for him on the front end, sure, he could win, but I'm against him at a low odds.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with Pletcher, though, in the Bluegrass, and he's 5-1 on the morning line. I think he's going to drift up. I think the line's too low on Donegal Moon. Yeah, he had the big figure of Parks. I think a lot of people that will discount that. I would, too, at 5-1, but if I get 8-1, I'll take a shot on the triple-digit number for Brisnet, but I know you're going for an even bigger reach.
Yeah, and just with Donegal Moon, I do think he'll be higher odds. I think Cherry Wine was listed at 12-1, but I think he'll be the second or third betting choice.
Yeah, good point.
And so, I do think you'll get your price there. I went with Star Hill. Elusive quality colt that I think is improving rapidly for Rusty Arnold. Real impressive maiden winner, 2 starts back. Stretched out the 2 turns to Tampa Bay Derby. Was getting dirt in his face and behind a wall horses, but he finished up nicely for third. That was a strong race number wise, and I think he's got a big upside. I'm going to pick an upset with Star Hill.
All right. Well, and we all need to find the upset because Kelly Riley had Oscar nominated in our little inner office Kentucky Dream Bet, and you had the runner-up, so you did pretty well too, but we're definitely chasing after that big bomb, and we'll put all the links to our Derby Dream Bet picks in the description. That leaves us with the Wood Memorial, and here is where I am finally against the obvious favorite. I just think Shaggoff caught the right conditions last time. I do think he's okay, but I do think Outwork and Matt King Cole have a right to improve, and we're getting them as the second and third choice now. I haven't separated them yet, but those are the 2 I want.
Yeah, I still think Shaggoff has a big upside down the road, but right now he's more of a grinding type that isn't running very fast.
Right.
His races aren't real fast. So I'm looking at him as vulnerable at low odds. And while I respect Matt King Cole on the front end, I think he'll be setting the pace. I like Outwork. I think that was a big effort in the Tampa Bay Derby. His first going 2 turns past 6 furlongs, and I think he gets the right trip. Sits second on the outside of Matt King Cole, and can stalk and pounce under John V.
Yeah, there's a lot of movable parts this week. I mean, if both your picks run well, Star Hill and Outwork, that really raises Destin stock, which I'm fine with because the 8-week break off the 8.5 furlong race into the Derby just isn't for me. I know he's fast. It looks like the Tampa Bay Derby's coming up, a big race, but I mean, I hope people keep gravitating toward him. It's one thing to prep for any other race. The Derby's a different animal for me, so I didn't pick him on top, but as much as if your two picks run well, then at least we'll get it back on betting against Destin.
Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine Destin wins the Derby off an 8-week layoff? You might have people coming in off 2 months in the future.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Destin's a really good horse, like you said, but I'm against him as well off that break.
All right, well, we'll have a lot to distill next week ahead of the Arkansas Derby, the final 100-point prep race. Lexington might offer some sneaking in there on the wild card points, but we'll look forward to talking with you next week.